Ladies and gentlemen, we're here. It's match day, and I don't know about you lot, but I've hardly got any nails left, and it is the biggest game in most of our lives as Aston Villa play Nottingham Forest in the second leg of the Europa League Semi Final. I'm joined tonight by Gary from Every Week We Follow. How are you, Gary? You right?
Mate, I'm buzzing. Come on, this is the one. Fucking come on, you Villa boys. I'm fucking bringing the noise, son. Come on.
Cory, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you, Ben. I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. To be honest with you, I've been very anxious all week. I try and portray a bit of optimism, and I think we can do it. But still, deep down inside, I think like everyone, I'm very nervous, very anxious for the game because it is. If we just don't get over the line here, it'll be absolutely devastating. I don't even want to think about it. Let's just get straight into the pod. So. Obviously, team news come out yesterday for people that are watching this. Just so for a bit of context, everyone, we're filming this on the night before, so we may use different wording, different terminology. So the press conferences happened. Unai Emery revealed that Amadou Onana isn't going to be playing in the game, which is obviously a bitter pill to swallow. And I don't know about any other Villa fans, but I'm getting to the point with Onana now. I get it. He's 6'6". He's for his physique, he's going to pick up injuries, etc., etc. But he just screams like poor recruitment for me, bringing him into the football club. It was always that what if with Onana. Where could he go? Could he go on to the elite level player that we think he can? Because let's be realistic, when he's fit and firing, he's fantastic. But it's just another disappointing injury. Where do you sit with that, Gaz?
Mate, yeah, I agree. Like £50 million, right? He was supposed to be our main man. And like you say, when he's been firing, he's had moments this season where he's looked world class. I would say, like against Man City, against Arsenal. Even last week in the first opening minutes of the first half an hour of that game, I thought he was putting himself about. He was breaking up play really well. So he's a massive loss, mate. And I don't know how you build a midfield if one of your main midfielders is injured every 4 games. Do you know what I mean? It just. How do you get momentum? How do you get the consistency going? We're left then putting the pressure on someone like Bogard, who I actually rate, by the way, but just not for these big pressure games. It's just, he's a young lad who's still learning his trade, and Arna's supposed to be the man. And when we lost McGinn and Tillemans and Kamara, I expected him to step up to the plate, mate, and be our leader. And it didn't happen. And so tomorrow night would have been one of those nights where we needed him, and now he's not going to be there. It was just the news that in the press conference yesterday, mate, I'm not going to lie, it ruined my day, if I'm honest, because I just thought if he starts, we've got a great chance. But he puts us under pressure that we don't need.
Yeah, you are right. And it doesn't really help that Kamara picks up a lengthy injury, seems to be every season with him as well. So when you've got the two of them who would be replacing each other, how can you operate as a football club like that? So the big question on every Villa fan's mind at the moment, it's going into today, and everyone will be speaking about it up until an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff when the teams are announced, is who plays in the centre of the park. Cory, I'll go for you first. Who are you having at the centre of the park?
Who am I having, or who do I think is going to be there is the question. I'm having Victor Lindelof every day of the week. But obviously Victor Lindelof's not going to be one of the options. It'll be Bogard or Douglas Luiz. For me, in terms of what we need, in terms of if we're going to go out and try and win that game and attack, it has to be Douglas Luiz for me. I know it's a very attacking midfield too, but at the same time, the only way we get through is by outscoring Forest at the end of the day. So if you're going to go for it and you're going to attack, play your attacking players. I love Lamar Bogard as well. The biggest issue with Bogard for me, I don't think it's necessarily that he's not up for these games mentality-wise. I think it's the fact that he's been thrown around in every position all season. And yes, he was brought up to the squad as a number 6, but he's played predominantly as a right-back for 90% of the season. And then in the 2 big games recently, Fulham, I know Fulham didn't seem like a big game, but obviously it was still a big game going into this Champions League running. And then obviously Forest, he's been thrown into a position where, yes, it was his position, but it's not been his position before. I think the last time he played there, he was probably playing alongside Kamara rather than Tielemans, and it's all of a sudden he's being asked to say, right, you're the one who's doing the tackling. Tielemans can't tackle for shit, no offence to him, but he can't. And then as soon as he got that yellow card against Forest last week, which was a silly yellow card, the tackling went out the window, so it was just Bogard in that midfield on his own for the last 15 minutes, really.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think you're right there, because I know you said obviously Bogard, Lindelof, or Douglas Luiz. I am very much in the camp that I think they may move John McGinn back into the centre of the park, have that the captain in there with his leadership, someone with a bit of grit, someone who's going to actually show a bit of balls on the football pitch next to Tielemans. I think they're more likely to go that route and put Jadon Sancho potentially on the right, or hopefully not subject 31, but that could potentially potentially happen. I really hope not, but if I think it will be Sancho, personally. Sorry for anyone that is listening. I'm not Leon Bailey's biggest fan. I'll openly put my hands up and say that. But if he plays tomorrow, I will back him to the high heavens. But I just would rather pretty much anyone else. I'd rather you, right wing, Gaz.
Yeah, I think I'd do a better job.
Yeah, it's just it's a real bit of one, isn't it? Either way, if it is Douglas Luiz, as you've just said, Corey, I think I'd back him. I think he could do a decent job in there. He's got the experience. He's been played in these big games before. I just don't think we've seen it enough quality from him since he's come back to Villa. What's your thoughts on that, Gaz?
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I think McGinn has to start there. I don't say he has to finish there, but I think for that first 20 minutes to drive us forward, to allow Tielemans a little bit of freedom to kind of, pick the balls up in that pocket of space. And, I'd rather play with two attacking wide men, if that's going to be Rodgers and Sancho, and try and get between the lines and get Watkins involved. I think McGinn has to play centrally. I know that's not his best position, as a holding midfielder, but I feel Bogard and Luiz, mate, I've got a soft spot for Douglas Luiz from his first day at Villa, and I don't want to. This isn't necessarily a criticism. It's more that I just don't think he's at the standard that's required to get us over the line. I think he gives the ball away too cheaply. I think we can't afford to be sloppy in possession tomorrow, particularly in that first opening 20-25 minutes. I think if we can kind of get McGinn doing his Braveheart impression, you should wear a kilt tomorrow, mate, and just kind of flash him and just and run straight at him. You know what I mean? God, McGinn's coming, and then if we can get a grip of the game, I'm not saying don't change that around a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And maybe bring Douglas Luiz on if we're winning the game. But yeah, I'd like to see McGinn because I just think he's our natural leader, and from the middle of the park, he can pull the strings.
I've just had a thought myself, and obviously this is from a coach's head point sort of thing. It's probably something that Unai Emery won't look at. But for me, I wonder if there's a world where we see he does go with Douglas Luiz and Tielemans and puts McGinn sort of forward, but then sees how Forest line up. So if Forest do decide to go for a back five, he might just then say, all right, well, McGinn, you slotted next to Dougie and Tielemans go into that 10. So there's that more creative player in the 10, and McGinn can sort of pick up that dirt in behind. Because realistically, if Forest come to Villa Park tomorrow looking to defend, and I'm not saying they will, but I just think obviously with the squad that they potentially could have, which we will cover shortly, they may have to just sit back and say, we're just going to have to soak up a bit of pressure for 45, 50 minutes until we feel like we can sort of get a counter-attack or something. So if that's the case, he may just set up with that thing of, right, well, what if I do start McGinn, and then if they do sit defensively, I'll put Tielemans forward as the creative player, and McGinn can just drop in next to Dougie?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions to be answered, isn't there, when those teams come out? And the other question to be answered is how are Nottingham Forest going to line up, because they've got their own injury concerns. And I was really down like you was, Gaz, and obviously Vitor Pereira spoke before Unai Emery, and he was very, very coy, and he didn't give away a lot in his press conference. But then he said around Morgan Gibbs White is if they'll assess him and they'll see if he can get through training, etc. And then he didn't train. Ola Aina didn't train, and neither did Sangare either. So that kind of gives me hope.
Yeah.
And I don't want to seem like that I'm resting everything on their players not playing. So I think if Villa turn up on our day and we play to at the maximum of our ability, we can beat anyone at Villa Park. We've seen that throughout the years. But if they are not in their side, it's a massive plus for us.
Yeah.
I was listening to a Forest podcast just before I come on, and some of the permutations, some of the squads that they put out as potential teams, I couldn't believe it. I'll read out one to you. I sent it to Cory just so one of the Forest fans put out this team if the injured players aren't there. So Ortega in goal, Cunha, Milenkovic, Murillo as a back three.
Yeah.
Bakwa, Anderson, Ryan Yates, Dominguez, Nico Williams, Igor Jesus, and Chris Wood.
Yeah, I mean, mate, this comes down to whether we show up or not. Because you're reading that out, you go, on paper, we should win this game. We should, if even with an Ireland missing, there's enough about us when we're, this team this season at Villa have they've beat Arsenal convincingly. I know that game we scored in the last minute, but we were by far the better side for 90 minutes against Man City. Exactly the same, right? Away at Newcastle, we've had away at Fenerbahce, we've had some real moments this season where we've blown teams away. So if we turn up, if that's the team they have to put out, mate, I'll be buzzing. For an hour and 15 minutes, that's the squad they announce. That's got to be the fire in the belly that goes, right, go out and put this to bed early. Get that early goal, because it'll put them on the back foot. And all of a sudden, that back five will be a little bit nervous. Do you know what I mean? I think Jesus and Wood, don't get me wrong, Chris Wood is a handful. He's been a handful for us in every game he's played. I think he's a big, strong centre forward that can cause us problems. However, I think we can totally dominate the game against a squad like that. But
it's really about us imposing ourselves, isn't it? Yeah. I think that is the big thing, and actually putting pressure on them, because I think we were far too passive at their place, and we still had chances. Like the Watkins chance. I didn't think he did particularly that bad. I think it was a poor shot from Morgan Rogers, and he's done well.
Should have gone with his left foot.
I don't think his body position could have gone with his left foot personally. No. We ain't going to go back to that anyway, because that's in the past. We're looking forward today.
We are.
The one thing that I really want to talk about, and I know we mentioned it on your live, and we had a good chat about it, is I'll say this now, and the reason why I want to speak to it, I'll bring it back up, because I was just listening to a Forest podcast, and this Forest fan that goes home and away every single game, he spoke about the intimidating atmosphere in Fenerbahce and seeing riot shields and guns, etc., and saying if they can handle Fenerbahce away, then the Villa Park should be a walk in the park. I still don't think they understand what's going to hit them.
Well, mate, I think they've underestimated us massively. I think the way they celebrated last week, as if they'd won it, and they're on the booking flights to Istanbul and all that kind of jazz. I think you're right, mate. I don't think they've got a clue what they're walking into. I think it sounds like with the 1897, getting everyone to bring scarves. I've heard rumours that we're going to have drums being allowed in tomorrow. People are taking flares. I think people are up for it, mate. I think this is going to be walking to a lion's den, and I hope they think that it's going to be a walk in the park. Let's hope that the players think that as well from Forest, because it's certainly not going to be.
I'm all. 1 second, Cory. I can see you're itching to say something. I'm all for drumming up an atmosphere. Don't know how I feel about drums being in Villa Park. I don't think we particularly need that personally. I did see that tweet.
Yeah. As long as they're not by my ears, mate, I'll be all right. I don't want to fucking drum.
Go on, Cory. On to you, mate.
I was just going to say, I think, obviously, we speak about atmosphere, and obviously you can talk about the Fenerbahce atmosphere and that. Ultimately, it means nothing when the team you're playing shit, and that's what Fenerbahce are. Fenerbahce are a shit football team. They've got a couple of good players. That's the truth.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of good football.
Yeah.
You can go to these places like Besiktas, right? No offense to Besiktas, no offense to Fenerbahce, Galatasaray. Scary places to go, 100%. But they've not got the quality of players to back it up on the pitch, and that's the issue. Like, you come into Villa Park. I'm not saying Villa Park's going to be anywhere near the atmosphere of sort of the Fenerbahces and places like that. It'll be great tomorrow. It'll be brilliant. But we've got better players, and that's the difference. If those players feed into that atmosphere, that's where the trouble lies. The Fenerbahce fans are like that 24/7. Every game you go to in Turkey, it's like Argentina. Every game the fans are like that. It's not just special occasions. Excuse me. It's those sort of things. So it's like, if the players are up for it, and the quality of players we've got, that's the difference.
Yeah, well, if you see this video's done millions of views, it's because of hashtag Besiktas, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, and they've all Turkish YouTubers leaked onto the video with Cory calling half their country shit at football.
Don't do that. We've got a final in Istanbul.
We're not going to Istanbul. We won't be safe, mate.
Cory won't make it out. It's all right. It'd be like a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
You can have him leave the rest of us alone.
I'll take it, mate. If we've got to be sacrificial lambs to get a European trophy, I mean, what a legacy.
Right, so defence picks itself tomorrow, doesn't it? So I've goalkeepers, Emi Martinez, right back, Matty Cash, centre-halves, Konsa, Pau Torres, would you say, or is anyone...
No,
I'd say Lindelof, yeah. And then left back, Luca Digne? You're going to go for Maatsen?
It'll be Digne, mate. I worry about the pace down that left-hand side of our defence when you play Power and Digne together. Hutchinson had a field day last week, and in the league game, I thought he really caused Digne problems. And Digne annoyed me last week because he went forward and then just walked back. And there was I think twice Tielemans had to fill him for him. And I was like, mate, and this is what I'm talking about desire tomorrow. Like if you go forward, you got to be back in position defensively. Maatsen for me, I've been an advocate to try and I think he's had an improved season this year, and he was getting regular minutes, and all of a sudden it's dropped off, and he just hasn't been when you're in and out of the team, I think it affects you. Do you know what I mean? And he must be frustrated because World Cup year for him, but he had a stinker on Sunday against Spurs, didn't he? I thought he was awful. It's probably the worst I've seen him play in a Villa shirt, and I was like, oh man. And it just, with resting Digne, it just means that Digne will start.
I think as well, like the defence is where we can win the game, in my opinion. I don't mean stopping the ball from going in the back of the net. I mean, Matty Cash and Pau Torres are our two sort of forward-thinking defenders out of that back line. Konza is too slow on the ball. We know this. He's one of the slowest players I've ever seen when he gets on the ball. And if he does that tomorrow, it's going to kill the atmosphere at Villa Park. So it needs to be a case of it's either going through Powell, Matty Cash, or Konza and Digne are ready to get the ball and look forward with balls. I mean, I saw someone, as you mentioned, we did a TikTok live with Gaz on his channel, and there was someone in the comments saying about Matty Cash against Spurs. Every time he got the ball, he's always looking forward for that run. Someone to run in behind, and Tammy was never doing it. Watkins will be doing that. And I think if we do that for 90 minutes, eventually one of them's going through. Or two of them are going through. All of a sudden, then you're creating chances for Morgan Rogers on the second ball. You're creating chances for Watkins if he gets through. Whoever's there on the second ball, it creates those chances. So from a defensive point of view, not just keeping the ball out the back of the net, but us pushing forward as quickly as possible, that's where we can win the game.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I agree with you 100%, and the concert point's a very fair one because sometimes he just dilly-dally on the ball in possession. It takes too long to distribute it. But I've also seen Konsa in games where when we need to press and we need to move the ball quickly, he's more than capable of doing it. So I just feel like with him sometimes it is just more of a tactical piece of just holding onto the ball. But hopefully tomorrow, because of the need to score, we need to score. There may be a bit more urgency in our play early on. I just hope to God they don't come out slow out. They can't, surely. Surely they've got, especially with the wind behind them, the fans, the atmosphere. They're going to start on absolute fire, and they're going to put so much into it. The dream scenario is we come out like all guns blazing and we get a goal in the first 15 minutes. Well, that's what we need.
I'm going to say something that's going to sound controversial here. First 15-20 minutes, we need to dictate the play. After that, we have to let Forest dictate it. And I know that sounds stupid when like saying, why would you let them dictate it? But you look at the Palace FA Cup semi-final, for example. From minute one, Oliver Glasner, before the game, he said, we'll let Villa have the ball and they'll make a mistake. What did we do? We made a mistake. So if we go out in that first 15-20 minutes trying to get a goal, if we don't get the goal, let Forest decide whether they're going to press us or not. If they press, we can go into the gaps. If they don't, keep hold of the ball. I know it's a bit slow and I know it's contradictory to what I just said, but just keep hold of the ball and wait for those chances to arise.
The thing is, what we need to do, like player for player, because when you talk about that squad and you talk about the defence, you talk about Konza and Pau. Obviously, we know Pau Torres' distribution is the one, right? He's very good at on the ball. He can pick those forward passes really, really well. They've both got to do it. Because Forest, we wear that. They'll know that Pau's our man to do that, so they'll try and nullify that. They did it really well last week, I thought. So, every player's got to step up and try and take accountability here. Or if the space is for Konza to play that football forward, then do it. And the midfield have got to be available. Like Cory, you pointed out there, like that Watkins will make those runs, and if he makes the runs and the ball doesn't go, then if the ball does go, then Rogers, Buendia, Sancho, whoever plays up front have got to be in and around to pick anything loose up, or because we just didn't do that last week. And I know it's different because we've got to win, or we've got to score, but we haven't done that for the last few games. It's really boiled my piss. Do you know what I mean? Because we've actually still created chances. And I think, actually, if we'd have been switched, like, I thought Buendia last week was playing like he had lead in his boots. Like, he was just so static. He was watching the game, passing by, and there was a couple of moments where he could have got on the ball or, made a pass or whatever. And he just dwelled and dwelled and dwelled. So I just want everyone to kind of go into this game with going to take responsibility. They all know what they're going to do. We know what they're capable of doing. if they take responsibility, like I say, I think we've got the talent and the individuals to cause Forest loads of problems.
I think so. I think the player that I'm banking on tomorrow having his best game in a Villa shirt for a very, very long time is Morgan Rogers.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because
100%.
I think they'll go. I genuinely think there's a big chance that they go for a 3-5-2 formation, and if they do that, then it's going to be backward, right wing back, right mid, whatever you want to call him. And I think there's going to be a lot of space on the channels. I think Rogers, if he can get in behind and run face up Jack Cunha's a good player as well. I'll say it openly, he's a decent player.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, I still would fancy Morgan Rogers to have a lot of opportunities in the game.
Well, I think. Sorry, Cory. I want to see the consistent, because what's frustrated me in the last few weeks since the Sunderland game, like that opening 80 minutes, like the first after 80 minutes against Sunderland, I thought we were brilliant. Right, well, I thought the tempo was good. We moved the ball really well. We created chances. We scored goals, and and then the same against Bologna. And then following those two games, we've kind of fallen off. But it's felt like we haven't after creating a couple of chances, we've just drifted off and we haven't kept going. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like it hasn't worked, so we just keep the ball at the back. And so your controversial thing, Cory, about keeping the ball, I'm a bit nervous about that because I just want us to kind of understand what you're saying, but I just want us to have a go. If we can get an early goal, the game will open up, no doubt, because they will start going for it. We'll go for it. I want to see, I said on my live, pound for pound, like a heavyweight boxing match. If we can score early, let's see both teams have haymakers and try and win the game. Right, so blood on a sleeve. Let's just fucking go for it and try and Rodgers is I completely agree, Ben. He's got such potential to change his game. We know how dangerous he can be. He's done it time and time again this season. Where he's picked the ball up, beat two players. Man United, West Ham. These moments where he's just again Tottenham away, for instance. He scored some brilliant goals, and that's what we need tomorrow. We need some individual brilliance.
I think the only thing that I'll say is I'll try and take my fan out of me and the emotion out of me. If we do go too gung ho early on, if they get the first goal, then it's shit. We're up shit's creek then. Then we have to score 2 goals to either take it to extra time, and we can do that. We can still turn it around, still score 2 goals. But I still think there may be a little bit of cautious from the Villa.
I don't necessarily mean go completely gung ho. What I mean when I'm saying is that when we do have the ball in possession, I want to see the energy. I want to see us go. Yeah, the tempo. I don't want to see the slow love thing. Emery's never going to go gung ho, but we can play with tempo, and we do it. We can be formidable, right? And that's what I'm saying. That's what I haven't seen. So I just want Rodgers to kind of, if he doesn't pay off, get back in position, because last couple of games, mate, he's just been walking when he's not been at the ball. He's been good on the ball. He's had moments in every game that he's played this season. But I think on Sunday he just looked knackered. He looked absolutely on his feet, mate. And why they didn't rest him on Sunday, I'll never know, right? But hopefully, Emery knows best, right? In Emery we trust, but this is the moment to, words are just words at this point. It's down to the actions now. They need to come out the blocks flooring, and hopefully they can do it. I'm confident, Cory, mate. I'm confident. I think we'll do it.
Hopefully, Cory, go on, mate. I see you wanted to say something. Then
I just think we need to switch things up a little bit. I think we're known as every game I watch, if ever I'm watching a Villa game on TV or whatever I'm watching it on, the commentator, whoever it is, will always say the same thing. Villa play a very narrow game of football. We don't use wings. We don't have wingers. That's why, obviously, everything goes through the middle. And I think sometimes you just need to switch it. I saw last week, and I thought it was really unfair, actually. The amount of people having a go at Digne saying, why is Digne not busting a gut to be, up the left flank? I'm like, because that's where Buendia or Rodgers should be. Why are both of them playing centre attacking midfield? You've got McGinn on the right, and then there's no one to turn to. And it's if you do play it to Digne, if he does cross it in, or if we do lose the ball for whatever reason, he's then out of position. And it's everyone's oh, well, Maatsen does it. And it's yeah, but Maatsen's going forward, and if he loses the ball, again, he's still having to sprint 100 yards back. And it's so you're just creating that space for no reason. I think, like I say, it's about doing something different. Pau Torres is we know Pau Torres is a key player. The thing that makes Pau Torres so good with his passing is he takes risks. Every pass he does, if you ever watch Pau Torres, and Vitor Pereira won't need to hear me when I say this, he would have analysed it himself. Pau Torres' passes, he runs forward, plays it diagonally into the middle, or plays it across the pitch. He doesn't go down the line. He never does, because those aren't risky passes.
Unless it's to John Duran.
Yes, exactly. Exactly that, though. And that's the thing. Those aren't risky passes. Pau Torres plays risk. So when it comes off, it's brilliant. But last week, for example, when he got most of them wrong, he looks an idiot. And that's the issue, is if you're going to play those risky passes...
I was about to say, his distribution hasn't been fantastic this season. I don't think in comparison to what it can be.
Yeah.
He's an important player tomorrow, though. That's neither here or there. So, right, big question. What do you reckon the score's going to be tomorrow? Cory, you go first.
Oh, why me first? I'm going to say 3-1 Villa.
Ooh.
Gaz?
Mate, I think we're going to do it. I think it's going to be a tight game, I do. So I'm going to go with us winning in extra time. I think we'll win 1-0 in 90 minutes, and we'll score a winner in extra time.
I've gone for 3-1 as well, but I've gone 2-1 in normal time, and I think we'll just get it. I fucking hope it don't go to penalties.
Oh, mate.
I don't even want to think about it because I don't know who will take them. We just miss penalties. If it goes to penalties, I'm just gonna. I don't know. I'll probably walk out of the stadium just to hope for the best.
As long as we take the first penalty and score it, Martinez will save the rest. Yeah. That's all we can bank on.
We've got to go first. Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs, isn't it? When we've got to say, as a team that's in the top 5 of the Premier League, that we haven't got 5 penalty takers. When we haven't, I don't feel confident with maybe Tillemans, maybe McGinn,
Tammy.
And Tammy. Yeah.
It tends to be a theme. I know we're going off topic here, but look at City a few years ago. They had Edison was about to take a penalty for him at one point, wasn't he? Because Gundogan couldn't take him, Sterling couldn't take him, Aguero missed him. So it was like, I think. Do you know what it is? It's because the good teams finish the game off before penalties, so you don't have to practice them.
Yeah, maybe, but mate, for the amount of money they get paid, from 12 yards unopposed, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Right, gents, I think we'll leave it there because I think we've covered pretty much everything. And for those of you that have listened, look, enjoy the game, enjoy the occasion. Hopefully at full time, we'll all be absolutely over the moon, and we'll be, those that haven't already booked your flights to Istanbul, you will be booking them, and we'll be drinking the tears of Forest fans.
Yes,
that's it. We're going to leave it there. Final one from me, Gary, and Cory. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.